Hello students, welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So dear students, I believe that you are in good health and strength wherever you're watching from. And in this session that we are about to have, I'd like to take you through an area under listening and speaking, and that is turn taking. So turn taking is one of the areas that we have under etiquette. So talking about etiquette, these are just a set of rules for behaving correctly in a social setting, or we can refer to them as good mannerisms. So now let me talk about turn taking. So allow me start by saying that turn taking is a cyclical process. So when we talk about something that is cyclical, we are referring to something that moves in cycles, or another word that we can use is something that is recurrent. So being a cyclical process, dear students, turn taking starts with one person speaking and continues as the speaker gives control to the next individual. So this is then offered to another person and then back to the original speaker. So a turn is a crucial element within turn taking. And again, for orderly conversation to take place, there must be a good turn taking. So each person takes turn within the conversation, either in person or on phone. So I'd like us to look at how we can achieve a smooth turn taking in a conversation. So dear students, smooth turn taking is achieved with number one, using specific polite phrases. So we have got different polite phrases. For example, there are specific polite phrases for interrupting. We have got polite phrases for accepting the turn when offered. There are also polite phrases that we can use, when keeping our turn. Then there are polite phrases that we can use, when we want to get other people to speak. So that is the first way in which we can, achieve a smooth turn taking by using specific polite phrases. The reason why I am talking about specific polite phrases is because sometimes you cannot use, a polite phrase for, for keeping your turn when you want to interrupt. So that will be inappropriate. So if you want to interrupt, know the specific polite phrases that are used for interruption. And if you want to agree or second what a speaker has said, for example, you must also know the specific polite phrases that you can use. So you must be orderly. So apart from the first point, another thing is that you can use gestures to indicate that you have completed what you are saying, or that you want to say something. So you drop your arm when you have completed saying what you wanted to say, and raise it when you want to say something. So also take note of that. If you want to achieve a smooth turn taking, use gestures to indicate that you have, completed your turn. So apart from use of gestures, there is also, varying the intonation to show that you have or haven't finished speaking. So talking about intonation, you can, lower your voice, or, raise your voice depending on what you are saying, or depending on your your aim or purpose of using the intonation. So number four, if you also want to another point is that if you want to achieve a smooth turn taking, you can use sounds like arming while thinking, so as not to lose your turn. So we can also call them speech fillers. So there are moments when maybe you haven't, finished expressing your ideas. So as you think, instead of just keeping quiet, it is advisable that you use some of these speech fillers so as not to lose your turn. By using such sounds, the listener will automatically know that you aren't done. So on to the next thing, I'd like us to look at some of the turn taking cues. The turn taking cues. So there are various ways of signaling a finished turn. They might be indicated when the current speaker, number one, asks a question. For example, did you want to add anything? Did you want to add anything? So that is one way of signaling a finished turn. That is when person X has finished speaking and wants to offer the turn to person Y. So apart from asking a question, we can also know or signal a finished turn when the current speaker trails off. His or her voice becomes weaker to the extent you may not hear his words. So again, we can say that that is now when the speaker uses a falling intonation. So when the current speaker trails off, you will notice that when the voice becomes weaker to the extent that you may not hear his words. So apart from that, uh, we can also signal a finished turn when the current speaker indicates they are done speaking with a closing statement. For example, a closing statement may be, that's all I wanted to say. Or another example is, I think I have made my point. So when the current speaker uses such statements, then the other person will automatically know that they are done speaking. So there is also a use of marker words. So another way of signaling a finished turn is when the current speaker uses marker words. So those are words that allow the other a chance to speak. For example, a word like well or so. So when the current speaker uses such marker words, then we can also signal or know that they are done with expressing whatever they had to express. So another way of signaling a finished turn is when the current speaker drops the pitch or volume of their voice at the end of their utterance. I think, again, I had mentioned that when I said the current speaker, might use a falling intonation. So this is the use of, this is the lowering of the voice at the end of, utterances to show finality. So on to the next point, that is another way, the last one probably, uh, of signaling a finished turn is when the current speaker uses gestures to signal that another can contribute. Let us look at some of the violations in turn taking. What are some of the violations in turn taking? So there are 5 well-known turn taking violations in a conversation. They are interruptions, overlaps, grabbing of the floor, hogging the floor, and silence. So uh, let us look at what some of these violations are by looking at the explanations. So number one, inhibiting the speaker from finishing their sentences during the turn is one way of interrupting. So when you do that, then it is say that you have violated a turn taking. Apart from that, also talking at the same time as the current speaker, that is also called an interruptive overlap. However, cooperative overlap is encouraged as it shows that you are interested in the message. So again, we are in another video, we'll be looking at how to interrupt politely. So you are allowed to interrupt, but the question is, how are you supposed to interrupt? So you are not supposed to have I mean you are not supposed to make an interruptive overlap when the other person is still speaking. So apart from that, interrupting and then taking over the turn before being offered is also another violation of a turn taking. Then also taking over the floor and ignoring other people's attempt to take the floor is another violation that we cannot also not forget to talk about. Then lastly, remaining without saying anything for quite some time when you are offered the chance to speak is also another violation in turn taking, because if you have nothing to say, there is a way in which you can express that. So let us look at some of the list of turn-taking phrase. So if you want to interrupt, these are some of the turn-taking phrase that you can use. Number one, before I forget, blah, blah, blah. I don't like to interrupt, but da, da, da. I wouldn't usually interrupt, but blah, blah, blah. So I am afraid I have to stop you there, and so on. I will let you finish in a minute, second, moment, or may I interrupt? So there are very many. Those are just examples. Another one is to accept the turn when offered. These are some of the phrases that you can use. Thanks, I won't take long. Or what I wanted to say was blah, blah, blah. Then also, to stop other people from interrupting you during your turn, you can use phrases such as, I have just one more point to make, or I have nearly finished. Or you can say, before you have your say, blah, blah, blah. Or you can as well say, I haven't quite finished my point yet. Then you continue by saying what you want to say. Or lastly, I know you are dying to jump in, but, and so on. So another thing is that if you want to offer the turn to another person, you can use phrases such as, but that's enough from me, or can you give me your thoughts on this or that, or does anyone want to say anything before I move on, or how about you, etc., etc. So remember, there are very many. These are just examples. So lastly, if you want to take the turn back after being interrupted, some of the polite phrases that you can use are the first one, as I was saying, or you can use before I was interrupted, blah, blah, blah. Another one is to get back on topic, blah, 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 or carrying on from where we left on, blah, blah, blah. So, dear students, that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you for watching till the end, and remember to always keep it easy, Limo. Until next time, bye.